Petras Auštrevičius, a person that not necessarily I like because he's quite problematic, but somehow I have to cope with him also as we are in the same group. I mean, it's not easy.
I feel sorry for you, Pavel. I mean, we've been competitors. As former chief negotiators, we've been running and chasing each other.
Wishful thinking for Petras, but seriously, I mean, Petras is my esteemed Lithuanian colleague. Very focusing on a number of topical areas, but I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, let's say that foreign policy, defense policy, and more strategic global EU affairs would be something that you really focus on.
Yes,
and you are quite often taking the lead as someone that has an experience with Soviet Union, with, let's say, affairs to the east from the European Union border. Now, in this respect, because you have the knowledge, you're active, but you also know a bit about the Czech Republic. I would have two quick questions to start. How do you see Russia today? I mean, do we have a strategy on Russia? Is it a partner? Is it a threat? Is it a concern? And what do you make of how do you read the Czech policy on Russia? How do you read the Czech politicians in Russia? And be for once you can be frank.
Well, let's try. Thank you, first of all, raising those issues. Indeed, I am a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, and my clear focus is on Eastern Partnership. I mean, those 6 countries, all are different, more advanced with the association agreements like Moldova, Ukraine, and Georgia, but as well, I keep an eye on Russia. Well, it's a vast country which is still not in complete, I would say, positive dynamics. What happened in Russia after 90s when Putin came to power, it's a completely different country. Many intellectuals in Russia, even former KGB officers, they usually suggest nobody from KGB can run Russia as a president, as a prime minister. It's, the institution which never produced people who might be democratic, transparent, and based on partnership with neighborhoods.
So there is a certain deficit of very basics, you would say?
I would say so, yes. And things, financial and economic things, what happened in Russia since then, Putin's entourage took a power on everything. They control assets, resources, and money flow. All oligarchs who are left, so to say, in peace in Russia are under control. Even in some instances, Putin was able to finance his foreign and military operations through oligarchs. So-called chef of his kitchen, Rogozhin, he became the one who financed Wagner's private company in Syria. So it's unbelievable.
Petras, let me be a bit provocative. Okay, isn't that domestic affairs of Russia? Which should be of little concern, or is there a real reason for concern for us at the European Union? Do you see a real, consistent, assertive, if not aggressive policy towards the European Union? Or in fact, they are living their life, we are living our life. Is there a reason from your point of view as a Baltics politician for a real concern, or are we overdoing it?
Look, we had different kind of assumptions about Russia. Under Obama, Russia was considered as a regional power, right? Given a regional role. But what Putin did with the intervention to Ukraine, Syria, global presence by nuclear weapons, by military plane flights over Arctic, close to Florida, and so on and so forth. Now, US, the last national security strategy of the United States positions Russia as a global threat. Global threat. Which means...
What about us? I understand. What about us Europeans?
Well,
is that also not a sign of our weakness? And what should we do with it?
You see, Putin's team developed quite a new set of so-called hybrid instruments. Propaganda, infiltration to the political elites, corruption. I mean, let's be frank. As long as Cyprus issues permits for residence and sells passports to Russian oligarchs with absolutely non-transparent operations, I don't feel safe. I mean, Russia today. I hope. I mean, you are not a great fan of Russia today. I mean, it's really present almost in every hotel room.
It's provocative again.
In Europe. I know. I mean, that's his favorite TV channel. But nevertheless, I think Russia is already quite heavily present in European politics, and we have to be very precisely tackling this issue.
Okay, you convinced me for once.
Did I?
Yeah, I mean,
Come on.
with some difficulties, but
that was an easy case.
Final question. I'm easy going. But final question: how do you read the Czechs? I mean, the Czech government, the Czech president of Russia. I mean, do you feel that you can rely on us?
Pavel, I do rely on you because I know you. But I can't rely on president of the Czech Republic, Zeman. For me, he is such a past, somebody whom I can't understand and comprehend. I think with this kind of exposure, I mean political exposure, we are losing Czech's presence sometimes in decision making what comes to Russia, what comes to security, and building common understanding about
Petras,
Europe.
can I comfort you a little bit?
Go ahead.
That makes two of us. I have the same feelings. Thanks for finding the time.
Thank you, and
See you
all the
in the
best.
plenary, yeah?
Yep.
Now.